Hey, welcome to 12 Tone. One of the hardest parts of writing a song, at least for me, is the ending. You've built all your cool themes and ideas, you've told your story, now how do you communicate that it's over? The simplest way is probably to go back to the one chord which defines the key and just stop. That's fine, but it's a bit boring, isn't it? We can add a bit more closure by inserting a resolution from the 5, but it's still pretty generic. A slightly more interesting approach is to replace the 5 with an advanced resolution like a diminished 7th, or a tritone substitution, or we could add extra notes to our one chord like the 6, the 7, or the 9, but they all carry the same sort of stability. What if we don't want that final sense of rest? What if we want to end with an edge? Well, it turns out that's not that hard. The 5-1 resolution works by creating then dissolving tension, so all we have to do is not finish it. But that's only the beginning. We're ending with a hanging dominant chord, and there's just so many ways to add tension over one of those, starting with what are appropriately named chord tensions. These are notes added above the basic structure of the chord. We could add the 9, the sharp 11, or even the 13. This is starting to get into what are called color chord endings, endings designed to leave the listener drifting in a rich, complex soundscape. And there's really no limit to what we can do with these. You don't want to get too much more harmonically advanced than the rest of your composition, but beyond that, the sky's the limit. We can pull chords from different dominant scales like phrygian dominant, augmented, or altered. We can use substitutions like diminished sevenths and tritone subs, or we can just play any other chord we want as long as it makes a cool, interesting sound. Variations of the 4 and the 6 are pretty popular too, each bringing their own tonal quality to the table. One particularly interesting, if somewhat antiquated option is what's called the Picardy third. This is where we play a progression in minor, but end on the 1 major. This is classically viewed as adding a sense of consonance, hope, and happiness to darker, sadder music. It's pretty uncommon today and has been for about 4 centuries, but still, I think it's fun, and it's probably worth knowing about. This has all been about harmony though, and there's a lot more to endings than just chords. Rhythmically speaking, you have a lot of options. You can do what we've been doing and just let the final chord ring, or you can arpeggiate it, playing each of the chord's notes separately to draw it out a little longer. These are probably the best options if you're using a color chord because they let the listener really absorb the sound. If you're using simpler harmonies, you could try a staccato ending with one quick hit, or you might even add a little rhythmic figure like this, or this. You can get louder to build to a dramatic finish, or softer to let the song trail away. You can even slow down the tempo, either adding to the anticipation or letting the sound just drift off. And then there's the Vegas ending. This is a famous technique, especially in rock music, where on the final chord, everyone just goes crazy, like at the end of this live performance of Shoot to Thrill by AC/DC. It gives the song a final burst of explosive, chaotic energy as everyone in the band makes as much noise as they possibly can. It's exciting, but largely meaningless, full of sound and fury signifying nothing. Vegas endings can also include what's called a button, one final hit in unison to pull the whole thing back together. Either way, adding a little Vegas can be a lot of fun. Finally, in the melody and lyrics, you're summing up the important parts of the song, often by just repeating them. The melody may get higher, louder, or otherwise more impressive, and the lyrics may include some clever twists on previous themes and ideas, but for the most part, you're trying to wrap things up neatly, so introducing too much new content will likely mess with the feeling of conclusion you're trying to build. It can certainly be done, just be careful. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you want to help make these videos possible, please consider supporting 12 Tone on Patreon. You can also join our mailing list for scans of all our episodes, try the exercises to learn more, like, share, comment, subscribe, and keep on rockin'.